What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Under Construction with KT. I am KT, and I have a really cool guest with me today. Someone that I've been trying to get on the podcast since I started, and we met about a year ago, I would say, and we just kind of clicked, and just someone with great stories to tell, a lot of energy. But I'm super excited to have him on. His name is Dusty Harris. So welcome, Dusty.
What's good, my
He
man? It's been quite some time. I gotta be honest, he has been on me about this, and it's not due to a lack of wanting to do it with you, Chris, because again, we met on a boat about a year ago and became buddies immediately. I'm like, the gruesome twosome got together and it was devastating. So, man, it's finally an honor to get on here. You're killing it with it. I've been following what you're doing. Blessed to do it with you, buddy.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate that feedback. And but you, man, I mean, family man. You have a wife, Ashley, and then Miles and Charlie. Two,
Oh yeah,
as you would them as your savages.
that's right.
And then you got. Is it okay to say you got one on the way?
Yeah, absolutely. We can let the cat out of the bag. So we are blessed to have a little girl on the way. Do sometime between mid to late October. We're going to see, where she lands. Can't wait for her to get here. I think Mama Bear's ready to get her here too.
That's awesome, man. And you've done some pretty cool things, in the last few years, but I mean, probably throughout your whole life. I've never really heard much of the story beyond the time you're on The Amazing Race episode or season 33, the COVID season. You guys had to take like 18-month break in filming or something like that, which
Chaos.
is crazy. And then after that, you made an appearance on the Challenge USA season 2. Is that
Yeah,
was it?
man.
But that was the season, right? Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I watched all of that. I'm a huge challenge fan, but do, when you went on The Amazing Race, that was first. I mean, how old were you when you went on there?
So, man, I got my start in TV very late. All my friends growing up were always like, Dusty, you would make great television. I don't know if that's a compliment or a backhanded slap, one of the two. But it did present itself. And so I was 36 going into 37. And then, Ryan was just a year younger than me. And so to get that opportunity to get the phone call, I mean, it was pretty mind-boggling. And at the same time, I'm not a young spring chicken, but, on The Amazing Race, a little bit of difference. You get a little bit of everything with the cast. And so really, I think people that follow me on social media have seen me on the challenge on The Amazing Race know that like fitness was very important to me. If you see what happened to me from the start before COVID happened until when I came back, I thought I was in shape. I took the time during COVID, those 18 months, to really focus on myself and get right. And so I just feel like, the older I get, health has become such an important thing in the forefront. Really, age doesn't matter to me anymore. I did the challenge at 40 years old and felt like I was in the best shape of my life at that time, and really one of the best contestants shape wise, no question asked. And so, man, it's trying to focus to just keep my head above water and stay 3 steps ahead of these kids and just keep energy. As you know, it's hard,
Yeah,
man. I shouldn't say that. Chris has the most energy I've ever seen. It's like the Energizer
well,
Bunny, dude. This dude on that dance floor. I'm surprised there wasn't a hole in the boat when we were done.
powered by vape juice.
That's for sure.
No, that's really cool, man. And that's like I've always watched like the Survivor and Big Brother and all that stuff, and I've always wanted to go on Survivor, and I started an audition tape. But walk me through that process, dude. Like when you and Ryan, and then we'll talk a little bit about Ryan because he has a really cool story too, your partner
Yeah.
on The Amazing Race. But walk me through, like, how did you guys decide to even like do this?
So this is an interesting story. There was no we decided to do anything. One day I just kept getting phone calls from Ryan, and it's not like him one to be up early, and he has earned all the sleep he wants for everything he's been through, and I'm sure we'll get into that. So finally I answer, and he's like, "Hey man, I got this opportunity." He didn't really tell me what it was. He was like, "Can you take a month of work off?" And so at this point, I'm living in Missouri. I'm doing insurance. I'm a 1099 employee. I'm like, "What are you getting at?" Like a month off in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Dude, are you in trouble again? Are we skipping town? What's going on?" And so
Oh
finally he
no.
admits to me, he's like, "Hey, I have this opportunity to do this show called The Amazing Race." And, I knew of it, hadn't watched a ton of it at this point in my life, and I was kind of dumbfounded. And so, lo and behold, the producer actually calls both of us. So I'm like, okay, there's validity to this. And so crazy process. Anyone that watched season 33 knows it was a bunch of big personalities that came together to do this season. Not only, being a COVID season, the longest pit stop ever. So we had to go to LA and go into this gigantic room full of people that I was like, I know who all these people are and no one has a clue who I am. So very intimidated, never had done anything like this, but very fortunate that Ryan has had the exposure he's had with doing things with TV, doing the documentary that he was a part of, doing the TV show that he was working on. So it was kind of a breath of fresh air to have him to lean into and tell me when to shut up. So long story short, casted with over 20 teams. Somehow, some way, we sprinkled enough magic dust on the product to where they selected us, one of 12 teams that got to go compete and try to race for $1 million against some of the coolest people and most influential people that I've ever met in my entire life. What a way to make up for 10 lost years of friendship, I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, that and that was a really cool season. I watched it, I used to watch The Amazing Race back in the day. Then after I met you, of course, I'm watching. I'm going to go watch your season. And you went through some struggles through that. I mean that one, I think it was a roadblock where you had to flip the rocks, man,
Oh,
dude. I watched that and I was in agony for you. I could just see your like I could see your it wasn't you out there flipping those rocks at the end, man.
no. If people could really see what happened, if I wish they would release the B-roll of it, I would probably be banned for life from doing anything. It was rough, man. A true test, but a life-changing experience. And anyone that watches that episode, I mean, again, if you saw really how I was acting. I mean, to compose myself and how they put it together was beautifully done because it was, I was thinking the whole time, like, man, my family is going to see this when the adrenaline wore off and we got to the pit stop and I just break down crying. And Phil has a way of asking questions that gets the most out of you. And it was like the most horrific thing to know that people were going to see that, but the most liberating when I saw how they put it together and kind of get all that stuff off my chest and do it in such a weird space. It was an
Yeah.
interesting ordeal.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. It was really cool to watch, and no, I mean, whenever someone that you know or spend time with is doing something on TV, it always adds a different level of entertainment. But it was really cool to watch, and I don't know, I watched the season of the challenge as well, and I think you should have made it past episode 6. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
I
you won't.
I I agree with your opinion.
I think Wes should have went home for the last time, but that's just me. Um, but yeah, dude,
It's funny. He says he's retiring and he's done 25 different shows since then.
dude,
God bless the guy, man.
that's
Dude's a genius.
yeah, exactly. He's smart. He's smart. He knows how to
Oh,
play
for
that
sure.
kind of stuff. Yeah. But no, I want to kind of like I'm always curious about some of like the behind the scenes stuff. Like what, like I know everyone's, especially in the challenge, um, everyone's like fighting for camera time, right? But there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff in the Amazing Race too. I mean, you guys get done with a day and then you go to your room or whatever and you get to
Yeah.
you just sleep and stuff. Like how is that? Do you guys like all come together? Do you like talk throughout the whole thing? Like what's kind of like that look like?
So I will tell you, I came from the opposite spectrums that you can do on reality television. So The Amazing Race, prior to COVID, is a pretty fast paced game. You're racing a leg, getting to a hotel. You may have a day off. That's really the longest you're going to get. Post COVID, it was insane. So, with all the restrictions, everything going on, we had to spend multiple days between legs in a hotel room with just Ryan and I watching CNN International and literally reading Bridgerton Diaries is the only thing we have. And so I'll be honest with you, I don't know how Ryan put up with me. And the only thing that kept me from plunging out of a window in one of those countries is to know what he went through with his experience, his time in prison. I'm like, Dusty, you got to keep your shit together, man. This guy has been through hell and back. We're sitting in a hotel room in Portugal, living the life, eating and catching up on
Yeah.
old times. So that's one thing, the mental exhaustion of just being trapped in a room with nothing to do, the walls start closing in quickly, especially for someone like me. You know me, man. My leg is rat. I need something shiny to chase constantly. Now you go into the challenge house, and just like you, diehard fan has watched the show my whole life. I mean, an honor to don the jersey, no question asked. You're going into the wood chopper. These people are out to get you as soon as that first episode starts. You get into the house and settle in. The game is on, and The Amazing Race, that cast I'm very, very close with because there's no manipulation in The Amazing Race. Get from
Yeah,
A to Z as quickly as you can and not a lot of communication in between legs. The time we had, it was very impactful. And I think going through COVID and everything we went through, having those 18 months in between filming, let's be honest, relationships were built in that. And so a whole different aspect where when you go into a house, it's everything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. And everyone is out to get you. And I mean, I think I was quoted on it. It was advice I got. It's easy to give everyone an A grade and let them work themselves down to an F, whereas you need to make sure that you're starting at as all you get an F grade. You got to earn an A for me. And you learn real quick, man, who you think your friend is your friend. And honestly, the hardest part in the house in a challenge house is being in the house as well. Like you
yeah.
see what we do on TV, the crazy stunts that we have to go through. That is like the most liberating, like let the pressure valve release moments you can get, because as soon as you get back into that house, if you didn't win that day's challenge, your ass is sweating. And it's like, I've never been to prison and I would never say I would understand it. And just talking with Ryan, the time I spent with him, I felt like it was a sort of prison and playground, but I will tell you, I would sign up a million times to do it over and over again. It's like the most challenging between the ears thing I've ever done, with the reward of going to get to do the craziest things, and just an honor to be able to do it, to meet TJ and be a part of something that I've watched my whole life. And I'm just like itching for an opportunity to go bust someone's ass. I got a better grasp the next time it happens. This shit ain't happening again.
Well, I mean, and that's how it is. And you were on a kind of an interesting one. You had some like some Big Brother people in there, I think. And the challenge vets, they like early on, they all act like they're gonna stick together, but
Sure.
there's so many cracks in there. There's so many cracks in that. So, but uh,
Yeah.
but you got people like I can't imagine the mental side of that because that house, yeah, they're used to it,
Chaos.
and they're kind of like after you've been on a couple of times, I'm sure it's like, okay, I know they know they have some shortcuts and secrets, but
Bro, you wake up in the morning and the vets are all like feet kicked up, like another day, another dollar. And the rest of us, just getting our feet under. A weekend, you're starting to frazzle. 2 weeks in, your head is starting to turn to jello, and everything after that, it's just like zombie walk to the next morning and hope to God you aren't going into the sand.
yeah, yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
But then you guys like Bananas, right? Who has someone write notes at him for home for when he comes in, so he can put him around the house and like
Yeah.
that's one season he did that. Like what the hell? Nobody knew it. But it's funny. It's like that's a really cool experience. But um, you brought up Ryan a couple of times. Your partner on the Amazing Race, and um, yeah, he has a crazy story. And talk to me a little bit about that, man, because I know we have a little bit, but going on a show like that with him and having a friend like that, and I mean him having a friend like you, really, I mean that's like, your guys' relationship is really cool. So I don't know if you want to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. So Ryan and I grew up together, Columbia, Missouri. Went to junior high, high school. You're younger than me, but always somehow found his way to lurk into our friends group, and just became one of my best buddies. And so we all go off to college, start that chapter of life. And early into it, my phone starts exploding while I'm in college, in the middle of something going on very serious with what's going on at school. My phone doesn't stop ringing, so I'm like, what the hell is happening? Immediately they're like, turn the news on, all over every single channel. Two kids, Columbia, Missouri kids, convicted of murder of the local sports editor of our newspaper. And so, long story short, a kid that Ryan and I went to high school with, his name's Chuck Erickson, woke up one day and kind of started telling these stories that he had something to do with the murder of Ken Highholt, the sports editor of the Columbia Tribune at the time. And this was 2 years after this murder had passed. Columbia, Missouri was voted in top 10 best places to raise your kids and family, all of those things. And so this really like shook our community. Nothing like this had ever happened. Kids hear this story, they go to the police, say, hey, this guy's talking that he killed the sports editor. Next thing you know, Eric is saying that Ryan Ferguson was with him during this incident, and both of them are arrested and go to trial. and are wrongfully convicted of a murder of this individual. And Ryan ended up doing 13 years of his sentence, and before his dad started, getting into the fold. And if anyone has ever heard his story, check out his documentary. It's called Dream Killer. It is basically the story of Bill Ferguson doing everything in his power to save his son's life, which entails finding Kathleen Zellner, an unbelievable attorney who ended up taking Ryan's case and, proving the facts very extensively, made it very clear, and it was a no-brainer that Ryan had nothing to do this. And so, you know, thank God Ryan was actually exonerated and was able to, be released from prison, because he would still be there. And, God bless Ryan as well, because he has not just gotten out and just given up on, that chapter of his life. He has such a commitment to the Innocence Project, and everything he does, he has a focus on trying to benefit people, because he believes, as he stated on The Amazing Race and his beliefs, you need to be able to prosecute the prosecutors. For someone to take 10 years, 13 years of my friend's life and then get promoted for it, and there's no punishment for the people that are doing this, and it happens all the time, man. And so, you never realize it's going to happen to you, good kid, middle class family, and some kid says that happens, and that's all it takes for you to go to prison. And so I'm just so fortunate that, Ryan was freed. But to, as I stated before, to make up lost time, that, 6 weeks we spent together going through everything that we did, there's no one else in the world that I could do that with. There's no one else in the world I'd want to do it again with. I love that guy like my brother. I didn't think I could get any closer to a human being. And when that, show ended and we hugged each other in LA at the LA Galaxy Stadium, I knew that was it. It's unbelievable, the feelings and the relationship that we have, to be able to be ordained and be the minister in his wedding, and us to get to spend time together when we get the opportunity to. It's really a blessing. And guys, check out Dream Killer. Everyone out there, if you haven't seen it, you want to watch something nuts, this will blow your mind. Watch the story.
Yeah, no, it really will. I watched it, and I follow Ryan on Instagram and stuff, and I believe his Instagram's like Life After 10.
Life
It's
After 13.
or Life After 13, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I mean that age too. Like,
Yeah, man. Went in at 19, basically. I think back on it like you're such a confused kid at 19, but that's like those, that time in your life is when you're figuring things out, when you're becoming who you're going to become. Who am I going to get married to? What's my career going to be? And so to have all that taken away for no reason at all, some crazy kid saying you had something to do with, Chuck Erickson had nothing to do with it. And he was just, released from prison after serving his sentence. It's a shame that this can happen, and I think it happens a lot more than we think it does. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that just don't have the support or the means to fight it. And I know that Ryan, that's a huge mission in his life, is to make sure that people are wrongfully convicted get a voice. And so God bless that he has stayed in the fight and continues to do that. And I've met so many incredible people through Ryan that are a part of these things, and just it's an inspiration to me to see him give back to a system that was so dirty to him.
no, absolutely, man. And yeah, there's really nothing to say like when you to someone like that. I mean, it's just like happy that it kind of all got figured out, but just there's no getting that those 13 years back, which is
No,
crazy.
man.
But
We
but
gave
good.
it a good shot on running around the world together, I can tell you that.
I mean
If the
that's
walls could talk in those hotel rooms, he would probably be like, I would rather have some of my cellmates back.
yeah. I mean, what that's kind of an interesting thing. Like, so I'm sure he made some pretty good friends in prison. He probably still keeps in touch.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. I was on his bachelor party. I actually got to meet one of his friends, kind of a very similar situation, someone he became close with. He did a podcast for a while with, I believe his name's Chris Dowling, dude lives in central Missouri, did time with him. It was kind of an interesting perspective. Ryan wrongfully convicted, whereas Chris, was very adamant, like, hey, I was arrested for what I did, learned from it. And so that podcast was called Prison Counts. I don't think they're doing it anymore at the moment, but it's a very interesting, listen if you're interested in anything with wrongful convictions or things like that. I highly suggest check that out as well.
yeah, that's awesome, man. And one more thing on the Amazing Race, I read something that you guys made a record. You were the the first all male team to incur a departure time penalty. I was like, I can understand that when there's females, they're always late. But what?
Yeah.
So you guys are the only ones that ever did that. So that's really cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't even remember where it happened, but that does not surprise me. I will tell you this too, before every single leg, here's some inside scoop. I've never met a person that has to pee. They're giving you a countdown. You have 1 minute before you go. The other teams have left. Group one, go. Group two, 1 minute. Clock's counting. Get ready. Ryan, I would look around, would always be gone. But he would always make it back. It would shock me. And so I don't know. They may have given us one for all we know.
Who
It could
knows?
have been where we got in some trouble in a hotel in Los Angeles as well, or at a point where we may have untied a goat or donkey, whatever animal it was at the time. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, we put
shenanigans.
ourselves in started well and started to fizzle late.
And that's all. You guys definitely showed up and put on a good show. I mean, that was a really cool season to watch. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a fun one to be a part of, man, and what a cool cast.
And what about?
Shout out right now to happy birthday, Lulu and Lala. It's their birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Lulu and Lala. Who are Lulu and Lala?
So
Oh,
Lulu and Lala were
yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah,
on my cast, the
yeah.
twins that worked did the radio thing. Two of our dearest friends love those girls so much, and yeah, just wanted to say happy birthday.
Very cool. Happy birthday to them. My birthday was just a few days ago, so it's
Oh,
yeah, all
nice. Would
Virgos.
you
So
turn 25?
yeah, exactly 25. I'm correct. You guys, most people guess 19, but
Didn't mean to church you up. Sorry, buddy.
yeah, no, it's all good. You know what's crazy, dude? I used to get like, I could, probably before like last year's the year before, I could get like somewhere between 5 and 10 years when someone was guessing my age. Like, oh yeah, yeah, dude. Literally, people right now guess my exact age, dude.
Yeah,
I'm looking
that's when
old.
you know that. Yeah, that's what it's like. What do I have to look forward to?
Yeah.
I just shave all my hair off to make myself look younger. I'm like, there's some gray stuff starting to happen. Ooh,
Oh,
wee.
dude, mine is crazy. All in here, yeah, it's crazy. Um,
Technology will fix it all. CRISPR, baby.
yeah, I know. I should dye my hair one day, just come in jet black, and everyone was like, "What the hell
Yeah,
is?"
I think the
Uh,
crew would love it.
that
Shave your
yeah,
eyebrows too.
they're just growing back.
Yeah,
Um,
perfect.
so yeah, dude, we met on a cruise ship, dude, which was funny. It kind of like it started raining, and we all kind of like we started to huddle into like the VIP area, and we're in the hot like just chilling in a hot tub. They had a little pool in there, and I don't even know how you guys like. I didn't know Rat. You were with Rat. I didn't know. I don't know if any of us knew either one of you, and you guys just kind of came up into our group, and it was like from then on out, we did the whole cruise together, which was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. We weaseled in through Alex as you guys were in that
Yeah.
VIP section area of the boat and somehow, some way got in. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad we sat down in the lawn chairs next to you guys because it was inseparable action for the rest of the cruise. I definitely think we stamped our impact on that boat. No question asked. If you had to look back on it and ask who the wrecking ball on the boat was, there was no two ways about it. As someone that was sober during this whole cruise too, to see it and witness it, my goodness, if those walls could talk, it was amazing.
Yeah, I think you made the comment, something about how many soda waters you drank that trip.
Yeah, it was awful. They like had them waiting for me everywhere. I got so bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
my enamel on my teeth is probably gone and the lining in my stomach.
yeah, and we did, and
Yeah, I
then
mean, it was a shit show of a trip though. Like, I've been fortunate to do a lot of fun things that, we all became best buddies immediately. Like, we have a text thread, and
yeah,
I feel like you don't find a lot of people that you can vibe with in such a debaucherous way because that's exactly what it was. You need that in your life, and to stumble into a crew that likes to get down, it's hard to find. So, yeah,
no, it was
I know we
amazing.
always have made plans. We got to do a reunion at some point.
Yes, absolutely, and I think everyone would be up for it, man. We had so much fun, and you guys being there, like that was everything we needed, because we're around each other every day, so it was
Yeah,
like
for
you
sure.
guys there. Rhett's my slide buddy. We went down that stupid slide he volunteered on the whole time. Have you ever seen that show where the dude's like on the it's with Tim Robbins? I think you should leave, and it's like a skit show, and he goes on a reality show called it's like Love Island or something. But he's only there to ride the zip line. I feel like that's what Rhett was. He only came on the cruise ship
Yeah,
to slide, bro.
no question. Every morning we'd wake up. You want to hit the slide? No, man. I am
So,
40 years old. I'm not going to tear my ACL in this tube with you.
yeah. Finally I went with
So
him, and it
funny.
was it was all right, but dude, I'm not going back. No, that was good. That was good.
Yeah. How the getting off on the island too. My
Mm,
goodness gracious. Oh boy. Kendra and making friends with all the locals.
yeah. Yeah, we had some fun. We danced a little bit in whatever place we were at, and then we went to the beach. Had a
Yeah.
little cartwheel competition. Some fun things.
I forgot all about that. Yeah, that was great.
I thought
Yeah,
I've
man, it was a ride. It's weird how those trips always seem to lure the same people in to be good at sales, you have to just be cut from a different cloth. And I feel like every one of those trips I've been on with that company always produces the same thing, absolute chaos. So cheers to that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cheers to that for sure. Um, we talked a little bit about stuff I already knew about you. Tell me some of the stuff like early on. What was Dusty like back in the day?
Man, so I've had a crazy ride to say the least. I mean, sum it up in a quick nutshell, grew up, mom passed away very young. I'd say dad did the best he could to raise me. Did I have the best upbringing? Absolutely not. Lived in turmoil, chaos, but now as a parent looking back on it, it's one of my biggest regrets when my father died. I felt like he probably didn't think, or I didn't show any means of appreciation for what he did for me because at the time, it's embarrassing. I'm poor. I have nothing, it just didn't make sense. And man, one of my biggest regrets. And dad, if you are listening to this, I love you so much. I know what it takes to be a parent now. And so grew up shitty, man. I mean, to say the least. So ended up going to college, finding my niche and failing out immediately. and really didn't have anywhere to go at this point. And so I bet I'm probably one of the only guests who will ever be able to say this. I lived in my fraternity for a good year and a half without attending college. I am the true life Van Wilder
Nice.
of the Midwest, no question asked. Went to a small liberal arts school. Not going to say any names, so I don't get anyone into trouble.
Yeah,
Had a ride at that. I was a savage, man. It was just partying, go, 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 center of attention. What can I do to get the eyeballs on me? Felt like that's what I kind of needed to do because I felt like I came from nothing. It was my way of like, standing out, getting ahead because there was no other way to do it. I wasn't going to be having the nice car that was going to impress you, any of that. And man, it just kept spiraling, spiraling. Got my act together. Best thing that's ever happened to me, outside of my wife and family, is I worked at a restaurant in my town. I want to say the name just to plug them, but I can't do it because you'll know the school then. But the owner of that restaurant sat me down in the basement of this place after a shift and, just could tell something was up with me. And I'd only worked here like a couple of months at this point. Told him my situation. Hey, I just failed out of school. My dad does not have the means to co sign on any of this for me. It was basically to a point where I was like, my life is over. Sitting in the basement of a restaurant, like, what am I going to do? Do I move back home and start swinging a hammer? What's going to happen? And so, man, this guy, blessing, love this man more than anything in the world. He is truly a father to me. Went to the college, signed the paperwork, got me back into school, and at that day, it changed my life. I always
wow.
say I hit rock bottom on the Amazing Race. That was literally rock bottom. No support from home, nowhere to go, living in a fraternity that I'm waiting to get kicked out of any day with working in a restaurant, barely making ends meet. And this guy took a chance on me. And it like changed my life. It gave me this perspective that I owe something to this man. And this man was very tied to the college that he went to bat for me at. And so it was like, I owe something to this college. And so, am I going to tell you that I wasn't a degenerate? No, I was still an absolute psychopath, partying my ass off and living the American dream. But I did get it together. I worked every single day, 6 days a week at this restaurant, never missed a day other than spring breaks. And he will quote me on that, no question asked. And got, I did better at school, enough to get by and get the grades I needed to. First kid to ever graduate college in my family, only one to not be a Marine.
Wow.
I think people, if you know me, you're like, you would have been a hell of a Marine. It's in there. And that led into, getting out of college, going back to my hometown, marrying my beautiful wife, family starting, TV shows starting, and sobriety kicking off, which has been, I would say, the latest and greatest feat that's probably happened to me outside of having my children as well. Just for the sake of everyone around me, my longevity, my happiness, my family's happiness. It's been great. I found a new purpose in life, and I have a fresh perspective on everything. Like hanging out with all you psychopaths, and still being able to know, hey, I can go out and go as ham as any of you sober was a very interesting experience. Going through the challenge house sober, I felt like I wasn't getting to do steroids because those drinks. I mean, you talk about release of pressure. I'm looking at all these guys having the best time, and all I'm doing is like, which one are you going to backstab me in the morning
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
wake up? But
There's
with you
no
guys, and it was
you
my first hurrah, really partying and getting after it in a big setting with you guys, and it was just like so refreshing. And so Yeah,
No,
man. I just feel like my life is, I'm super into these endurance sports. I got a race coming up next weekend in Winter Park, a 50K. I'm coming out of some knee injuries, which I'm finally feeling good at the end of the season, which is shitty. I wasted this whole summer, and being 41, I know there's probably not too many more of these where I'm going to be able to run hundreds of miles, but I'm going to go until they all give out. And so, yeah, man, my focus has just been how can I get better and set a good example for my kids and actually try to be around for my kids because I've done the math. When my daughter gets here, I'm going to be 60 when she graduates, which
yeah.
is terrifying.
Yeah, man, I'm 44 and I have a 3-year-old. So yeah, I'm in the same boat, dude.
I know.
Well,
We're a
you're in
couple of geriatric dads.
you're in a much leaner and more athletic boat. Let's just say that. Now we're on the same boat.
Yeah, there's some creaks in these boats boards these days. I am telling you what. I think I blew a knee out dancing with you guys. I'm pretty sure.
Hey man, that'll
I'm
happen.
blaming it all on that boat.
I take knees when on the dance floor. People that blow out their knees, that's like a trophy to me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, got another one, a notch in the table. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, just trying to stay ahead of life, keep the youth as much as I can, keep up with these kids. I'll be honest with you, I'm itching for another crack at some TV.
You need you
I
getting
need
back
just
on
a,
there, man.
I need a dose of madness, man. I feel like I got all this pent up just everything, and I need to go release it. So yeah, I hope that that will present itself here soon too, man. And just staying the course and raising these kids, man. You know what it's about. It's they're starting to start school and all these crazy things, and it's kind of surreal and terrifying all at the same time.
Yeah, and then having one on the way. I mean, they get drastically well. I don't know if kids get easier the more you have, but or you just don't aren't such a psycho about it after the
Or you
first.
just become numb.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it is, but there's some chemistry in there that happens. So the third one, man, it'll be a breeze, And the girls
Yeah,
are
it's gonna be interesting. A
girls.
girl's gonna be crazy, man.
Yeah, yeah, dude. My first one was a girl. She's 21 now, so well, she'll be
You know
21.
what's weird is I always said I don't want a girl. I don't want to deal with all the sins and the bad things and strangling little kids in 18 years. By this point, with two little boys, I was praying to have a girl. Another boy, another little Harris kid with my rambunctiousness and my wife's energy. I'm pretty sure our house would have burned to the ground.
Yeah,
So yeah, I just had to make a move to west for 10 more minutes west from where I was living just to have enough space for all these kids. I mean, it's
hey, man.
5 years ago, I had no ambitions for kids. Now I'm officially outnumbered. It's crazy how it happens. Best
Oh,
decision I've
man.
ever made, that man.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the kids change things. A lot of things that that people you have to kind of sacrifice, but at the end of the day, man, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like coming
Yeah,
home to kids and family and stuff like that. So you got a really good
it's
thing
an
going.
interesting. Yeah, how you said that too. That's very interesting. Like sacrifice. I tell like new parents, this is a crazy thing to say. Some people take it the right way, wrong way. What I learned in parenthood immediately, I don't know if this was you, is like how selfish I am. It's like I have all these things that I was doing, and you just realize that stuff doesn't matter anymore. And when you realize that transition, when you can go into the children and focus your attention into like what they're gonna do, what they're gonna be, it's a crazy, crazy way to look at life, and it's so rewarding. And I get why all my friends that were parents prior saying I was nuts for not wanting to have kids. I get why they say it now. And I would say that to anyone that doesn't have a kid. Totally
Yeah,
understand if you don't want them, but man, they are a game changer and give you a whole new perspective and meaning in life. That is facts.
it's what like you finally understand what unconditional love means. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you have a
absolutely.
kid. Like, you see that I mean, people most people have it with their parents, but it's like it's a different lens that you're looking at it through. When you actually have a kid, it's like it's yeah, nothing gets in the way of that. I was watching a video of this lion cub getting picked up by, like, a hawk or something, and the mother jumping up and grabbing it out of the air, and then the next clip is the hawk in the lion's mouth, and the baby cub just, like, sprouted in front of it. Like, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
parenting right there.
I feel
Like,
like there are days though where I would like that hawk to take off of that tub.
yeah, just for like a
Get it
couple
up to the
hours.
nest.
Maybe
Yeah.
a couple hours, bring
Yeah.
it back, we'll see.
It's
Um,
funny. I was through the terrible twos. I'm just starting them again. And it's like, oh, I got to start them again here real soon. Here we go.
yes. Yeah, man, I did it. And I did it my son was 11 when I had Eli. So, yeah, I was almost
Yeah.
done, dude. I was out. But that's a whole other story. That's a whole podcast. But, you brought up sobriety a couple times, man, and one thing I learned about you when we were on the trip was that your sobriety was your own decision, like a personal decision. Where a lot of people, when you're talking about sobriety, it came down to where they hit rock bottom, or someone else stepped in and intervened and kind of pushed them to that. But you kind of made that decision on your own. Walk me through that.
So I just always felt like I had a really interesting relationship with alcohol. I mean, younger days, every day, partied like everyone, and it was to the point where when I drank, I didn't drink a lot. Health was becoming a focus of mine, but still, the times that I did drink, it was just, there wasn't a casual way to go out and have a beer. It was like, I'm going to go drink 45 IPAs, 72 Vegas bombs, and see where I wake up in the morning with all my friends with me, everyone, and it was just, I was starting to get into this mundane fold. And I mean, it's no secret. Everyone has seen that I have a temper, and to, drinking the way I would drink at the instances that I did drink, it was just like pouring gas on the fire. I would say things, do things, just act like a moron. And so I just, before I was going to go into the challenge house, I was like, there is no way in hell that this can happen. So I made the commitment to stop drinking. Not the only reason I did so. Went down to Texas with a bunch of friends. A long, crazy weekend. Let's just say I burned a hole through a dock and then acted like a buffoon the next morning. And it was time. With kids too, I wanted to set that example. I didn't want to be acting like a fool and them see me when they get of age. I just knew what was coming, and it was like, if I don't spearhead this now, this is going to lead to something that I'm not going to be proud of whatsoever. And so I just needed to make the decision. And let's be honest, man, being hungover with kids is the worst thing I've ever fucking
Yeah.
experienced in my entire life. It's, you can't put a kid in a kennel, unfortunately, without going to jail. And so it's just, it
Anymore.
all just, yeah,
Used to
and
be,
just the
you're
amount of, I know, man. Thanks, Bin Laden. Uh, it's just, and just my focus on health, fitness, what I'm trying to do, the thing, the message that I'm trying to promote in my social media, not to gain followers, not to do this, just to like show, hey, you could be 41 years old and be jacked to shit and go out and get after it and compete with anyone. Just go do it and get out every day, lace up, man. Everyone sees my slogan, leave no stone unturned. It came from the Amazing Race, flipping all those rocks, but it's just, that's it, man. You just got to continue to grind, continue to focus. And so I just felt like alcohol was getting in the way of that as well. It's hard to wake up and run 10, 15, 20 miles hungover shit. It's just not going to happen. And for me to do the things I want to do, still try to accomplish some things in life at my age that are physically extremely demanding, it was one of the things I had to give up. I mean, I still have my crutches, my vices here and there, but it was just one that it didn't make sense for me, my family, the visions that I had. And yeah, I'm 100% better person for it. My wife has been sober just under, I come up on 3 years, October 8th sober. She's about 2.5, 2 years, 3 quarters. Started when we had our second son. It hasn't looked back either. And so I think it's been a blessing for our relationship. We are closer than we've ever been. We still know how to have fun. And once you figure that out, you realize you can still go out and have fun. It wasn't the liquor doing it. It's the same shit. You saw how we acted, man.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's days where I miss ripping them open, sitting on a patio, and it's nice. It's just like, at this point, I'm so far into the damn thing now, I don't want to start over. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's just, yeah, I'm a better person not having it. I have no problem with anyone drinking around me. All my best friends are savages, and it is the most enjoyable thing to sit back and watch it. It gives me perspective, though, to be like, I was the ringleader of this shit. If these people are acting like this, and I'm looking around at how people are looking, like, what the hell did people say about me? Because I
Yeah.
was the dude swinging from the chandeliers, you acting like you.
Yeah, no, it is. And well, especially, we've all had our crazy nights, and I mean, woke up and I'm never doing that again. But it does take a certain strength to put your foot down on that, man, because you do. It's a social thing, and oh, it's someone's so and so's birthday, it's this and that. Have a drink. We bought you a shot. This and that. So to be able to,
For sure.
what was like kind of the hardest part for you, like in the beginning, because that's where you're at your weakest, where you can easily go back, but
100%, man. I would say the hardest part is real, like, I was the life of the party, center of attention, and I always felt like, after a couple of beers, that's when that person came out to get that attention. And in the back of my mind, when this is going on, and all my friends are just like me, and we're all trashed, it's like, oh, this is great. I felt like I wasn't going to get the same attention or be able to be the same guy, you know. And I think a lot of people worry about that. Like, how am I going to be socially around a bunch of drunk people? One, it's either going to annoy the shit out of you. You're going to be like, I can't believe that I was this person. Or
Yeah.
two, you're going to realize, man, this is the most entertaining thing. And so that's what I take it as is like, I get a front row seat to watch all of this go down. I can be an alibi if needed, and I can also blackmail the shit out of you if I need to as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's just getting over that. A quote that I'm actually talking with a buddy of mine in Colorado who's starting the journey, and I just texted him this before we got on the phone. I'm hoping I don't butcher this. It's hell to get to heaven, but it's heaven to get to hell. I think
I think,
that's something that if people, you know, you're in the struggles with it, and there's a reason that you're wanting to quit drinking. You know, whether you're doing it yourself, someone's telling you to do it, you know, or if you don't do it, something bad's gonna happen. Man, yeah, it's a lot easier to drink the drink, make the pain go away, you know, stop the shaking, whatever it is. But that's a quick road to hell. It's just the easy way. And if it's, you know, really easy for you to get the fix and get the, you know, hit to the limbic system that you want, probably not good. And so I always think of that, man. It's like, yeah, this is going to be hell, but I'm going to heaven. It's going to be a better road. It's a longer, maybe a bumpier road, but it's going to be a lot smoother road when I look back on it. And
yeah.
it's just, you know, one day at a time too, man. You got to, I think I said this on the boat to you guys, and I said it on the Amazing Race all the time. You got to eat an elephant one bite at a time. That's
Mhm.
all you can do. It
I
can't be,
literally said
oh,
that
I want to
today.
make it to a year, make it to a day.
Mhm. That's very cool, man. So that's some good kind of like feedback. You never know who listens to this kind of these things.
Totally.
Yeah, if like I always like to kind of like get that perspective of it. Like, what would you tell someone that's going through this? And that's perfect advice, man.
Dude,
The time.
I have a great story that can tie right into that, man. I was coming out of a porta potty in Salt Lake City,
One of
Utah,
my
about to
favorite
run the
places.
Salt Lake City Marathon 2 years ago. Getting my mind right for the race in a porta potty. So as I walk out, it's smoking like a chimney, and this guy goes in right behind me. I'm like, oh shit, this poor guy, he'll be fried coming out of there. Uh, he comes out and he yells, Dusty. And I'm like, I'm walking back to my wife, and I was like, I'm in Salt Lake City. Who the hell knows me here? So I wait for this guy to come out of this porta potty that I just got baked in, and I'm like, oh boy, this guy's coming out. And so I'm like, yeah, do I know you? And he's like, hey man, I followed you on Instagram, watched you on these TV shows, and I sent you a message like a year ago, and you messaged me back, which I couldn't believe, and you gave me this bit of advice. And he was like, I'm here doing my first marathon, and it's because of you, and I
Wow.
can't believe I'm running into you. And it was like the most moving thing that's ever happened. And it was like, I know everyone says, oh, you know, I want to impact someone or this or that. And it's like, that's really, I find my true joy. And I've had the opportunity being an older guy, figuring things out, getting healthy, showing that you can be a dad and be a badass, man. That is so rewarding to hear someone say that, and truly one of the biggest honors. Damn, I wish I remembered his name. I'll text it to you. You can put it in
Yeah.
the notes or something. But this dude, it like blew my mind and like gave me a real purpose. And so, yeah, dude,
That's
that
incredible, man. Like one of the biggest compliments I think you can get. I mean, when someone
crazy
like
coming out of a porta potty too. I'm like, this is strange. What's this gonna happen? You know, is he trying to get me in here with him?
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. That's so cool, man. And that's what it's all about, dude. I mean, I was thinking about that. I was actually talking um to Nick. You know Nick, nobody else. Well, other people do
Yeah,
though. But and I was talking about kind of like my podcast here and since I did my last podcast like mid-July and my goal was to always put one out per week and from mid-July until and all through August I did nothing. And I actually did filmed on Wednesday and kind of like working myself through why I wasn't, kind of. I use this podcast as a tool to help me grow. I a
yeah,
lot
man.
kind of transformed into like talk about stuff that I'm currently working on, and but I was getting and something really crazy came out of it and why I was kind of paralyzed and like I wouldn't come back to it and I wouldn't film and I started like ever since I got started doing the podcast, I was getting feedback, right? From friends, and it's all been really good. And I started getting some feedback from people that I would never expect feedback from. And but it was really good. And that dude, that kind of for that month and a half, I had to work through it because it kind of paralyzed me, man. I got like, how writers get writer block or something. I
Yeah,
knew what I wanted
totally.
to put out, but I was just like, I was thinking to myself, like, I'm not good. Now that people are listening and watching this, now this shit has to be good. Because when I first started, I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm a one man show here. I'm gonna edit this by myself. Everything's gonna be done by me. Like I don't have someone saying like, oh, this and that. So I'm like, and now I put this unnecessary expectation on myself because I was getting positive feedback and it paralyzed me, bro, which was really weird. I've never had that happen. And I kind of worked through that the last like month and a half and like came to that conclusion. I'm like, that's crazy to me. Cause I put this expectation that, all right, this is all got to be good instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to get on here and talk. And that's what the fuck this is. That's all it is. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. And
And
I
it,
think that's why you'll succeed in this is you're just a genuine, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, man. Just let the wheel run and you try to keep it between the lines, dude. You're going to crush with this. There's not many people I've met like you. I mean, we all hugged goodbye at an airport after only knowing each other for 2 days, and I felt like I had soulmate friends with all of you. I know we don't talk every day, but I would never hesitate to call any of you, and that's just a testament to who you are and, utilizing this platform and what you're trying to do with it to benefit, give other people a platform to tell their stories, but to, help yourself. That's it's the same way I think of running in the morning, man. It's the same way the person that needs to quit drinking needs to think about putting the bottle down. It's if you can find a way to better yourself, man, you're only going to get better every day. You're going to get shittier. There's no gray zone. There's no staying the same. Like, let's be honest. And
yeah.
it's finding whatever avenues that interest you. I think if you can be excited about something, it makes it a little easier. And so, yeah, I mean, it is scary too when people start commenting and they say things. Wait till you start getting the bad ones, bud.
I know. Like, I think I'll handle those a lot better because it's like, oh, fuck you. Don't listen, but like,
The best thing to remember in that note is a hater's never doing better than you, baby.
that's right.
All the bad ones I got, I'm like, you're down in your parents' basement. Shut your goddamn mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yeah, absolutely. And that's
Yeah,
so
it's so
true too.
funny.
But that was so I started seeing some of your like I look at your Instagram all the time, but Ruck 40, you started doing that. Tell me about that, man. What's that all about?
So Ruck 40 was a challenge to myself when I turned 40 years old. I was like, man, coming off the challenge, juiced up, in my brain, I was like, oh man, I'm going right back 2 months. They clip these things along quick. I got to be ready. And so I'll be honest, when I left the challenge, how I left the challenge, after a few days of like getting home and letting that settle in, I just felt defeated and
It was
like
bullshit though.
robbed, to be honest with you, and
Fucking
just like
absolutely
a bit
robbed.
hollow. And it was like I took this anger from that and I was like, I'm going to put it into something and I'm going to do something that let's see if it can gain traction. And, it's no secret. I love David Goggins. I mean, who
Mhm.
doesn't? He does endurance sports. And so he always did this challenge 4 hours every, run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And I was like, well, I'm turning 40. I don't really want to run all through the night, and I wanted to make it a little bit harder. So I partnered with Go Ruck, and they hooked me up with a bag, and so I carried a 40-pound rucksack full of sand every 4 hours for 4 miles for basically 2 days straight. It was insane, dude. It was the craziest, like self-inflicted pain. There was no finish line. There was nothing I was going to win. There wasn't a medal. I wasn't going to place, like a race. It was I forget, it's the Masagi, I think it's called. If anyone listens to Jesse Isler, it's like his thing. I've read a ton of his work. If you don't follow him, man, you need inspiration. That guy is a beast too. It's doing something so hard once a year that everything else you go through is easy. And I know everyone talks about this, any like self-help book, everyone on Instagram, social media, get in the cold plunge in the morning, this, that. But there is something to fucking doing that. Doing something hard to start your day, doing something once a year that's going to push you out of your comfort zone. And when you plan to do that shit, you need to plan something that you don't think you're going to finish. Did I think I was going to carry a 40-pound bag for 4 miles every 4 hours? I was like, man, there's no way in hell I'm going to get through this. And then it just got to the point where I was like, I have to get through it now. And by putting it on social media, there was no backing out. And
Yeah,
dude, the support and the amount of people that started doing it, sharing it with me, posting it, it was kind of mind blowing. And it was something I threw together real close to before I started. And so last year I didn't get to do my Masagi. This year I have a baby coming and I haven't done it yet. So I'm running my 50K next week, but I have a vision for next year, something real crazy.
Oh, nice, dude. I look
Yeah,
forward.
so stay tuned.
I mean, you like to have your kids born at some like some inopportune times for what you're trying to accomplish. I
I
mean,
know, man. It's
wasn't Miles born while you were on break from the Amazing Race?
yeah. Every time I've gotten back from a TV show, I've had a kid. I need to be careful.
Yeah, dude, come on.
We're not having any more. I'm done. This is
Yeah,
it. Three. I'm outnumbered. I can't take any more.
yeah. I was talking to Nick. Nick, we were talking a little bit about. You said I don't think he knew you had a kid on the way. And he's like, oh, he's done. He's done. Three.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And man, shout out to Nick too. That's a guy who went through. That's a story you need to get on here as well, man. Guy,
Yeah, we're
I made a decision. He made a decision that was a hell of a lot more important than mine. I can assure you that.
Yeah, no, that's actually I appreciate you saying that because we're gonna film. I'm gonna film with him next Monday. It'll probably be two parts. I'm gonna try and do 2 hours because he's got a lot of a story to tell.
Yeah,
And then
his dad's perspective would be interesting too if you could figure that out.
well, I could bring his dad's perspective on. I've already talked to McKenna about bringing her on and her perspective as a
Yeah,
whole different
yeah, yeah,
episode
yeah.
because we had a whole
He's
conversation.
uh he's the real deal, that dude though, man. I mean, shout out to you, brother. You're a bad dude.
Yeah, and I mean he's a statistical anomaly with that. I mean he was fully in recovery, like had to rehab everything, and he came out. He was one and done, and he's see where he's at now, and he's just got such a good story. It has to be out there. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a story people should hear because, like you said, if one person could hear it, there's probably a hell of a lot more people in that situation than, the story that I just gave, that are really struggling with it hardcore and like to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, like, man, someone get out. Because most of the time, like you said, that doesn't end that way. It's him
Hmm.
jumping out of the window and running off and not coming back, or,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait to listen to that one. I've heard the story. It's enthralling.
Yeah, and no, and I mean, your story, like, just, I mean, your tenacity and your, dedication to even do things, recognize and being in your 40s and saying, no, fuck that, I can still do. I'm gonna still do this. I'm gonna prove to everyone I can do it. I'm gonna do it on social media. Actually, is
Yeah.
like really cool. I mean, that's very inspiring, man. And I think there's probably a lot of people out there that if they saw you next to a porta potty, that if they know you, that they would probably have something to say about how you've driven them. Because just watching your social media, your relationship with your wife, you guys go out and you shoot bow together, and like that's something you guys like kind of must probably use to to blow off steam, and it's something you guys do together. But that's a really cool thing to do with your spouse, in my.
Yeah, man.
But
I'm very fortunate. Yeah, dude, I'm hit way out of my leagues. My wife Ashley is the cat's pajamas, man. She keeps me grounded. She lets me know when I'm being a dickhead, which is all the time. But we just complement each other well. We understand each other. She's my best friend, my biggest critic, and my biggest supporter all at the same time. And that's what I need. And the best mother that I could ask for, and just very fortunate. And she can dish it as good as she takes it. She is a maniac and just a badass and all together. They say opposites attract. Oh, well, we are two spitting images of each other. You would meet two people more alike. God, if they ever put us on TV, it would be
I,
outstanding TV. People think we hated each other by the end of it. I'm assuming she'd be beating my ass all over everywhere.
an amazing race part. You see a lot of husbands and wives or people that are in like father and son
Whew.
or daughter go on those. Yeah, that could
Yeah,
you
you
know.
got it. It'd be deadly
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
or
So
entertaining for the fans.
it's definitely gonna be entertaining if you're there. I know that. And if she's like you, then there will be no lack of entertainment. But yeah, you've gone through a lot of crazy stuff and have a really cool story to tell. What are some of the big things out there that you can share with everyone that lessons you've learned along the way, man?
Man, take it day by day. I mean, I think I said it earlier. You're not going to win the war in one day. It's going to be a slow, long slog of a battle. If it's something that you're trying to challenge yourself with and it's too easy, it's probably not going to make an impact in your life. I truly believe that. This is a short ride, man. Like you blink and it's over. And like we've talked about it a couple of times already, I'm 41 years old with these visions of doing these crazy things. You can still do whatever you want, man. You just have to put in the work. It's going to take extra time. I'm 41 now. I'm not 20 anymore. There's extra stretching. There's extra things you need to do to still be able to do it. But if you really want to do it, you can do it. And I think finding something that gives you purpose that you love, again, cliche, everyone says it, but there's something to be said about that, man. Go do something that makes you happy. and pushes you out of your comfort zone. And I mean, I feel like, if you wake up and do something hard every day, the rest of the day gets pretty easy. And just be legit, love one another, like everything everyone else says, man. It's just take it a day at a time, be grateful for what you have, and leave no stone unturned in anything you want to accomplish. Like focus, put the work in, grind your ass off, and good things usually happen, man.
Yep. Well, the one thing we all know is nobody's gonna do it for us, right? So it does take, pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. I appreciate you coming on here, man. I know you're busy. I know you've got a lot going on. You got all
My
this stuff.
pleasure, dude. My honor.
Yeah, this is really cool for me having someone like you coming on here and sharing, man. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we, you know, got to what you wanted to get to. But everything is just I feel like we could go 2 hours with this, but
No
uh,
question, dude. You're just a joy to talk to as well, man. Next time we all do a trip, we just need to bring a camera and let that thing roll and just throw it out.
yeah, if I had this, if I was doing this podcast when we were on that boat, dude, I don't know, we'd have so much good footage. Everyone would have been mic'd up.
Dude, it was a ride, man. And honestly, a pleasure to do it with you and continue grinding, man. It's just, I feel like in the podcast game, you just got to continue putting it out and it'll take care of itself. You get better by just repetition. You know that.
Yeah, man. No, I
Keep doing it,
appreciate
keep
that.
going. It's going to get better and better.
Yeah, and being a 40 plus year old myself, you are definitely an inspiration, dude. What you do physically, and mentally with balancing family, work, and then all of this other stuff that on top of that you're working on to just be a better human and be a better person, be a better father is really cool and really inspiring, man. So thank you for taking the time with me, Dusty. It's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend, and let's stay in touch, and maybe we'll run this back next year after a couple other things have transpired in your life.
I would love that, brother. I can't wait to see how this flourishes and let's get a reunion trip together, man. I would love to see you again.
Absolutely, man.